Hello everyone, Speedrunner 0-18 here, and welcome back to episode 14 of the Pokemon Speedrun Analysis series, where we see how fast a Pokemon can potentially beat a certain game. In the previous episode, we did the three-way race of the Kanto legendary birds in Pokemon Leaf Green version, and all three birds performed in quite a similar way. I won't spoil the results of who won, but I will say the Brock split in the early game basically decided all of it. Today though, we will be seeing how fast Ivysaur can beat Pokemon Emerald after intense routing and grinding. Ivysaur is a stage 2 grass/poison type. It is the middle evolution of the Bulbasaur line. Most of Ivysaur's level up moves are quite similar to what Bulbasaur and Venusaur's are. What stands out to me though is that Ivysaur gets Sleep Powder and Growth. While the badge boost Glitch doesn't exist in Gen 3, having a move that boosts special attack while grass is special could give Ivysaur a great time. Via TM, there isn't too much we can learn. The best move here in my opinion is Sludge Bomb, the poison type version of Thunderbolt. It deals physical damage so it won't benefit from growth, but with Stab, this is Ivysaur's best physical move, so we'll most likely get it. By the way, if you happen to like this series and would like to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really means a lot to me on our journey to 1,000 subs. And before we get started, I was experimenting with a different overlay for this episode. I had a suggestion from another fellow PokeTuber named Vanman. He said that whenever I leave a battle, it's weird seeing the previous Pokemon's data even though I'm not in a battle. I figured I could only have it show for important battles and show the split times for the run. I originally was going to ask if you liked this decision, but I came to my own decision that I hate doing this, and switching scenes while recording was just tedious. One reason besides YouTube burnout and being sick with food poisoning for this video being extremely late is the fact that I really hated this overlay, and I really did not want to work on it, but hey, Ivysaur's got to get done. I don't want to re-record it, so let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, go. While we get to the first rival battle, I want to talk about the type of Ivysaur we went with. This is the first Pokemon where I did not go with perfect IVs. This is because I want to utilize Hidden Power, a move that changes base power and type depending on your IVs. I gave Ivysaur all 31 IVs but only 30 in speed. This gives a 70 base power Ice type Hidden Power. Besides that though, I went with a male Ivysaur. It didn't really matter to me since Attract will not be used in this run, and I gave him the Naive nature, which is plus speed and minus special defense. Most special attackers in this game are water types, so I felt this is a good stat to reduce. In solo runs, plus speed natures are the way to go, unless speed is not the issue with a Pokemon. With that out of the way, let's get to Rival 1. On Rival 1, I just spam Tackle. It will be our main physical attacking move for quite a while. I also start with the moves Growl and Leech Seed. Growl will never be used, but Leech Seed will be helpful in a few scenarios. Also, as we head to Rustboro City, I battle every trainer on Route 102 for the experience for a later fight that I have to be a minimum level for, pick up the Pecha and Oranberries, do the Wally tutorial, and get through the Petalburg Woods where I fight every trainer on the northern part of Route 104 also for the experience. I don't fight the bug catchers in the forest because Tackle is too slow on their bug types, especially the hardened spamming Cascoon and Silcoon. When I finally enter Rustboro, I enter the gym, spam Vine Whip on all the gym trainers, use an Aetheron Vine Whip that I got from Petalburg Woods, equip the Oranberry and battle Roxanne. Her first two Geodude go down to 1 Vine Whip, but Nosepass is only pure Rock type, so it isn't 4 times weak to Grass, so it takes a while, especially with Roxanne spamming potions and Nosepass holding an Oranberry. But I end up beating her and getting a split time of 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Also, the split times for gym leaders will now be based on my live split time upon fade out after defeating the gym. I'll keep the splits off screen for scripting purposes. After going through Route 116, rescuing Pico, and getting the Pokénav from Devoncore, I buy 8 repels from the Mart and battle Rival 1A. I do this for the very quick experience for that one fight. Then I set sail to Dewford and go enter Granite Cave, where I get the Everstone, a Makuhita for strength later, and deliver the letter to Steven Stone. Afterwards, unlike Aggron in my Aggron video for this game, I battle Brawly right away. Well, not exactly. I fight 2 trainers in his gym to get to level 18 first. This has to be the minimum level I fight Brawly for, because in routing, his Pokemon would keep living through attacks and I would basically get walled due to Brawly using super potions. At this level, the ranges become more in my favor. Also, here's a little nerd tip. In Pokemon games, due to how damage rounding works, where in the calculations to determine damage, the numbers are rounded down, the levels that actually increase outputs of damage are levels that end in 0, 3, 5, or 8. So whenever I grind for minimum levels for certain trainers in routing, these are the levels I'd aim for. With that nerd talk out of the way, brought to you by Scott's Thoughts for finding it, let's now get to Brawly. On Machop, I put it to sleep and take it down with a mix of tackles and vine whips to try and prevent super potions. In current gens though, especially in Gen 3, you can attack the turn you wake up, so just because I have sleep and I outspeed does not mean fights are consistent. It also does not help that bulk up also raises defense by 1 stage, so I often need more tackles to avoid heal ranges. I also forgot to mention that not only I have the stat modifiers show up for the enemy Pokemon, as well as my own, I also have my badge boost show. With that out of the way, I defeat Brawly with a split time of 17 minutes and 41 seconds. Now for the Watson split. I'm still grinding for experience at this point for a different trainer, so I defeat everyone on the Route 109 beach, do the Captain Stern ship parts side quest, and battle every trainer up until Rival 2. Rival 2 is usually the hardest rival fight in the game, unless you're just so over leveled like I am. On his whole team, I spam Razor Leaf, but I do put Combuskin to sleep since Ember would not be good on Ivysaur. I think Aggron had a harder time here, to be honest. Look, I like to reference my past runs when talking about current ones, but this is my second Emerald run. Give it some more time and I'll have some other ones to constantly plug. After battling my way to Mauville, I get the Rock Smash HM, Acrobike, heal at the center, devastate Wally, and battle every single trainer I possibly can, and then I enter Watson's gym, defeat his gym trainers, and then battle Watson himself. Just because I'm overleveled here doesn't make Watson any easier. His Emerald team is way harder here due to the addition of Manectric. But to be honest, his hardest Pokemon is Magneton since he resists all of my moves. My solution for this fight is Leech Seed to deal consistent damage. This Pokemon was the reason I kept Leech Seed this entire time, and that gives us a Watson split of 39-44. That is not too bad of a split, especially since most Pokemon in Emerald will have to do tons of early game grinding to prepare for the late game. After battling my way through Route 111, 112, and 113, I arrive at Falabar Town, buy some Super Repels, leave Route 114 with no survivors except for any mandatory double battles which I skip, since they give less experience and take more time, and I enter Meteor Falls. After doing the Team Magma cutscene, from there I go through Rustboro Tunnel down south to get strength, and go back up the monorail to Mount Chimney. I found out there's a small chance to find a hiker here. Let's see if he shows up. Nope, maybe another day. On top of Mount Chimney, the only major fight is Maxie number 1. His Mightyena knows Roar, Swagger, and Sand Attack, none of which are good. His team is just spamming Razor Leaf on Mightyena and Camerupt, and then Secret Power on Zubat. I picked up the TM for Secret Power on Route 111 and had it taught over Tackle. The Gen 3 version of Body Slam is indeed in this game as well. I also want to say, I'm changing my rule set starting in the next Gen 3 run. If I get roared, I'm allowed to switch back in and resume. There are so many Pokemon that constantly terrify me with Roar. I don't want another repeat of what happened in my Poochyena video during the biker grind. I hope y'all don't mind this, cause I certainly don't. Now to go down the Jagged Pass, cause a landslide that defeats all the trainers, and enter Lava Ridge Town, and I go in the gym, defeat the trainers, and then battle Flannery. She was the first major obstacle of this run. I can barely survive an overheat as it is, and I sure as hell ain't surviving one boosted by Sunny Day. I have to really hope on Sleep Luck, especially on Torkoal, her hardest Pokemon. Literally, its defense is so high. I have to set up a bunch of growths, put Torkoal to sleep, and spam Razor Leaf. It's also worth noting that in Gen 3, critical hits only ignore your bad stat changes and your opponent's good stat changes, not all stat changes like in Gen 1. Thank goodness. This fight still takes 2 resets due to overheat, but I win on the 3rd try for a Flannery split of 58 minutes and 24 seconds. This is still 5 minutes faster than Aggron, and Aggron hadn't even fought Brawly yet at this point. Now for Norman. I would usually talk about the vitamin of the day for any Pokemon I do, but Ivysaur didn't really need any, so I didn't buy any. But while in Slayport, I did purchase the TM for Hidden Power. You can only buy Hidden Power if you picked up Secret Power from that guy on Route 111. Now, let's get to Norman. On Norman, we don't have Dig to easily cheese his Slacking like Aggron, but we do have Sleep Powder which will suffice. However, Slacking is still bulky as ever, but luckily we win the fight first try for a split time of 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 4 seconds. Holy sh**, that was close. Anyway, after obtaining Surf, we pick up the rare candies in Petalburg, Route 108, and Route 110. I go surf across Route 118, get and use the hidden iron here to boost my defense, and I go through Route 119, defeat all the trainers, pick up the zinc, which boosts special defense, and I use it as well. After that massacre and item gathering, we finally arrive at the Weather Institute. There is actually a heal bed here. No, there is no heal bed on the SS Sand in Gen 1. That's only in the remakes. Don't believe what Scott Thoughts or his viewers will tell you. They're deceiving you. Just like when they say that Dome is the better fossil. Anyway, after deceiving Team Aqua by actually not letting them do their evil plans, I get the cast form, deposit it since he is useless in double battles since he doesn't have any moves that does not hit the opponents or affect the battlefield. Now it's time for Rival 3, the last mandatory rival fight in the game, unless you want to enter the Lily Cove department store, which I have no plans of doing. His team easily goes down to spamming Razor Leaf. I don't even bother putting Combuskin to sleep, since the rival fights just aren't that threatening at all. This was one of Hoenn's largest problems in my opinion. Preceding this battle, I arrive at Ford Tree, deposit all my HM users, defeat the trainers leading up to Steven, defeat the Kecleon, and go back to Ford Tree to challenge the gym. You see, the reason I deposit my HM users is so the forced double battle in here just becomes 2 back-to-back single battles, which is easier to manage. This gym is still quite tricky though due to Ivysaur being weak to flying moves. Some of the trainers in here did prove quite tricky, but I'm still able to get to Winona. Before I fought her, I equip a Citrus Berry and use the PP up I got from Route 115 on Sleep Powder for extra power points. I get 1 reset on Winona though due to Swablu using a turn 1 Perish song. The next attempt though, I'm able to set up my growths on her Pelipper and Tropius, and defeat the rest of her team with Secret Power for Tropius and Razor Leaf on the rest of them. One trick I do here is AI manipulation. Due to Altaria having Natural Care, which heals status conditions when switched out, the AI will switch in Skarmory so I can defeat it without it landing a move. And I level up to level 51 and achieve a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 5 seconds. And to let you know now, the fight I've been leveling up for most of this run is the 2nd Maxi battle. In routing, I have to be level 55 since at this level I can outspeed the Crobat and eliminate tons of RNG with Confuse Ray, or just outspeeding me and killing me with Air Cutter. Once I teach my Wingull Fly, I go to Dewford Town to get Sludge Bomb, avoid all the trainers to Lily Cove City, get the rare candy on Route 120, enter Lily Cove and immediately go to Mount Pyre. I do that to set Lily Cove as a fly point. Before actually entering Mount Pyre though, I get the rare candy on Route 123 and reach the summit of Mount Pyre, get the Magma Emblem, the rare candy here, and I go to Lava Ridge Town to enter the Magma Hideout. There is a rare candy in here, but I don't really need it so I avoid it. What I don't avoid is the PP Max. This'll really come in handy for later. Now for the second maxi fight. You may notice I'm level 60 here. I used all 9 rare candies I had to get from 51 to 60. This is fine, since on the battle with Archie in the seafloor cavern, I have to be a minimum level of 60 for the same reason of outspeeding Crobat. So this is fine, but let's talk about Maxie. His Mightyena is still as annoying as ever, and him having Scary Face can make Crobat outspeed, allowing me to get hit with Air Cutter. So I end up getting a reset when that happens, or never mind. I was so sure I'd lose that, but I guess I got really lucky. The Aqua Hideout is also a thing, but nowhere near as impressive as the Magma Hideout, so let's just skip it. After finishing the Hideout, I catch a Tentacool with the Master Ball for Dive and Waterfall, heal up the Moss Deep Center, and go battle Tate and Liza. This fight was actually easier than I thought. The AI will prioritize killing my HM users, so I use the first 2 turns to set up growth peacefully, and then on turn 3, I put Claydol to sleep to avoid it using Earthquake. And then I take out Xatu with Sludge Bomb, which I had taught just before this gym battle over Secret Power, as well as give it a PP max. Once Xatu is out, the rest of their team is weak to grass. Even though Razor Leaf is weaker in double battles since the base power gets split between the 2 Pokemon, I'm still able to win first try for a split of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 10 seconds. After getting the 7th badge, Team Magma attacks the Space Center, so we have to stop him, and we incite our final battle with Maxie and a multi-battle with Steven Stone. I only bring Ivysaur. I can't control what Steven does, so he's free to help me. His Metang does have Psychic, so it will help with Golbat and Crobat. However, this fight is still very difficult, just like how it will be for almost every Emerald Pokemon going forward. I unfortunately get a reset here due to the RNG of this fight, but I end up winning on the second try. With Dive obtained from Steven Stone, I go to the Seafloor Cavern and go battle Archie. He's still just as tricky as Maxie was back in Mount Chimney, but without Secret Power. I have to use Sludge Bomb to take out Crobat, but not a big deal. Now, from here until the 8th gym is just a bunch of plot with the legendaries, so let's just skip ahead and talk about our battle with Juan. Juan was actually very easy, minus the 1 reset I had due to a mess up. I just used Sleep Powder, set up 4 growths, and spam Razor Leaf. Hopefully the champion is this easy due to their similar type preferences. With all 8 gyms under my belt, it is now time for the final 5 trainers. But first, we have to have our discussion with Wally about how much he sucks as a trainer. I did that AI manipulation thing again, with putting his Altaria to sleep to make him switch, and just sweep his entire team. Even though Victory Road has dark lower floors, like Rock Tunnel and Leaf Green, I'm slowly starting to get the layout memorized. So with that maze out of the way, I heal up the center, buy some full restores, and fight the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit! On Sydney, I put his Mightyena to sleep and used 2 Razor Leaves. On Shiftry, I defeat it with Sludge Bomb, and on Absol, I use a Sleep Powder, 2 growths, and then spam Razor Leaf and Sludge Bomb on his remaining team. This fight takes a few tries since in my opinion, Sydney is this game's Agatha, a luck lottery. On Phoebe, I use Growth turn 1 since her Dusclops will almost always use Protect turn 1, and then I put it to sleep, use Growth, and then spam Razor Leaf on her team for the win. On Glacia, I use Sleep Powder on Celio, 4 growths, and spam Razor Leaf. Also, look at her Golali. It has perfectly even stats except for HP. Not often you see something like that. Now for Drake. He was really hard to figure out in routing, but last minute I figured out an easy solution. Use Hidden Power Ice. Along with Growth, his entire team becomes an easy sweep. I do have to reset if Shelgon gets off a speed drop with Rock Tomb, since that'll allow his other Pokemon to outspeed me and knock out Ivysaur with Flamethrower. Now, for the champion. On Wallace, I put Wailord to sleep and set up all my growths. I can only survive 1 of his blizzards, so some luck was needed here, but most of it is in the beginning though, so I can reset pretty quickly. Once Wailord is taken care of, my Milotic is a 1-hit, Tentacruel is a range, so I have to put it to sleep first, But after that, the rest of his team goes down with Razor Leaf, and then Ivysaur defeats the champion with a time of 2 hours and 12 minutes flat. Even though I have splits, the final time will always be at this moment right here for consistency. And then the game time at the Hall of Fame is 5 hours and 50 minutes. Just barely. I saw that change from 549 to 550. That was pretty cool. This run, despite some hard fights, was actually very easy. Grass is a pretty good type in Hoenn, especially with the final gym leader and the champion being water users. This run was also pretty fun to do. The video is very late, but I've been going through a tiny burnout while making this, plus I was quite sick for a while. I'm trying my best to overcome the burnout though. I'd rather have content a week late than to get exhausted and take a 3-month break and possibly never come back. I hope you all understand. This run was still pretty great, and Ivysaur gets first place on the leaderboard. Our next game will be Pokemon Yellow, and it also looks like the next Pokemon will be Jinx, an Ice Psychic type. That should be good for Kanto. Can't wait to see how it goes. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next speedrun.